Sunday morning to y'all. I hope everyone is having a great weekend out there. I was out here yesterday, getting some work done, but the rain came in and really kind of, put a damper on things. So that's kind of how that goes. So I managed to get a couple boards, probably like 5 or 10, maybe planed and dados put into them. So worked on that for a little bit. Also had a little side project you see here over my left shoulder, little tabletop that I have set up now, so it makes things a whole lot easier here on the back. And yeah, we're gonna keep going today. Got more lumber sitting out there, got to plane it, got to put the dados in, wash, rinse, repeat, and do that. Probably gonna work on that all day. I might take maybe around lunchtime or so, once I get through a stack or two, get them down to cabin 3. I might actually start installing some of that today, really just to make room for the next load that's got to go down there. So let me show you how things are looking now and how I've improved my setup. Okay, so all things are kind of normal over here. Again, my process is first cut them to length, decide which side of the board I want to be the interior. I plane the interior side. I'll usually shoot it through the planer once or twice depending on the cupping of the board, and then I rip the dado in. So last time you saw this kind of contraption, it was down here on the deck on the concrete slab. So one of the things I did yesterday morning, I had some 2x10s left over from the forms that I made my concrete pad with. In fact, they sit right here and they've been here for some time. So there were some 12-footers, so I took some 12-foot, 3 of them actually, laid them across the bunks of my mill, and then put some 2x4s underneath it to kind of cinch everything together. And now I've got a pretty good little rack right there. And the only thing I had to do was, as I pushed the boards through, it was hitting my mill down here. So I have the mill raised up, so everything just goes underneath it right now. So certainly no big deal, but this is just about belly button height, and it works fantastic. So it definitely saves me on the back, but that's the last step. And then I set those finished boards here on the end. And once I'm done with all these, and I got a stack of finished boards here, I take them down to cabin 3 down there. You can kind of see it in the background. And that's where we are. So I'm probably not going to film a whole lot of this today. You've seen this probably 100 times if you've been hanging out. And yeah, well, we'll get back to you after a while and check in with you. Here we go. All right, gang, we're gonna take some time now. I've got several stacks, this stack here and then a couple stacks over there ready to go up on the wall. So we're gonna take some time. I've got my first one up here. Use the level, got it nice and plumb, so it's looking good. So now we're just going to start knocking this out, going down the side here. Relatively easy to get to, not too much variation once it gets to the back here. I should be able to reach that nailer there halfway up the wall there. That won't be a problem, and that certainly makes things a lot easier. Backside might be another story, but let's get going before we start thinking about something like that. So yeah, so I'll set you guys up and here we go. All right, guys, count that down as one wall down on cabin 3. Certainly the most challenging wall yet. A lot of this yellow pine seemed to dry and warp a little bit, so there's quite a few more gaps. It definitely does not fit as tight together as cabin 1 did. You still have that shiplap effect behind it. You can't see through it, but the gaps are definitely there. And yeah, so, and I had some other growing pains. When I was using the router, my router was not set deep enough, so I had to go back and redo some of the dados because the siding was not sitting flat against the rail and the nailers and stuff. So a couple challenges along the way here, but this is good. I'm really surprised at the amount of lumber that this took to get this one side. I still have, a decent bit of that stack left. So I'm not sure. It's probably enough to do the back. I don't think a whole nother side though. So that's probably my next event is the back of cabin 3 with that wood. And yeah, we'll go from there. Well, good morning, everybody. It's now the next day. It's Monday morning here, and yeah, we got the neighbor came over last night or yesterday afternoon and see if we wanted to do something yesterday afternoon. So we had a little cookout and stuff. So I didn't get to end the video. So here we are, morphing this into one long video, and which is probably good because it's really the same thing over and over again, at least here with the what I'm doing right now. So last you saw, I finished the one side of cabin 3. My intention was to move on to the back side of cabin 3, and that's what we're gonna do today. So I have my, got my workstation stuff set up back here, got the planer there, router table and stuff like that set up there, but I haven't moved any wood over to that area yet. I just want to show you kind of what we're left here working with out of that one pile. If you recall, this pile here, this was all material created from the blowdown that was just down that road, probably the last, no, probably the third tree ago. Anyway, it was at Yellow Pine. It was over. It was going to hit my power lines and stuff like that. So this is all the material that's left of that. So my intention here this morning is to plane, dado and stack this material up, get this whole pile done, get it down the hill to cabin 3, and just start working on the back side of cabin 3. I might actually start, maybe I'll do that on the broad side of it, since a lot of the back side is really going to be hidden by the bathroom and the sink area. So yeah, well, as I'm thinking about it now, that's probably where this is going to go then, on the other side of cabin 3. So this is it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers of it there. So that might get halfway, maybe 3/4. So it's all pretty wide logs. It looks like most of them are 10 inches. So, yeah, 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah. That's 150. So yeah, it's probably going to cover half of the side at least. So we're going to work on that, and that's going to be the plan here for the morning. And then we'll probably start diving into this once we get this mounted on the cabin. We'll start diving into this pile here. All right, guys, here we go. Well, a couple hours later now, and I've got a log arch full just about of that lumber there. So we'll get this down to cabin 3, start getting it up on the walls. Well, I gotta tell you, I wish I could make those as fast as they go up. I want to say that took only about 15 minutes to get all those assembled and put up there. So no problems. Everything looked very good. I'm super excited. Again, the interior looks fantastic. Now, again, this side and the other side is yellow pines. I'm going to do my best now. I got to go up and pick through that other 10-foot pile. I'm going to pull out all the yellow pine here, just so I can try and sheathe the entire interior with that yellow pine, just to try and stay fairly consistent. So, yeah, everything's looking good. We're rolling. Might be a little time for lunch, though. See when I get back. Gang, end of another day here. It's just after 6 o'clock here, and we're actually already cleaned up. The boss came out and helped me pick up after she got off work, so made many hands make a light work. So got that knocked out. I got the other side of the cabin finished, and I started on the back. I only had maybe 3 or 4 boards on the back side. So that's going to be the focus for tomorrow, and not really much different than today. I'm just actually going to have to saw in an angle on those top pieces to just kind of go up towards the ridge board and stuff like that. So that'll be on deck for tomorrow. So everything's clocking right along, and yeah, no real issues to kind of talk of today. Everything went off pretty well. So, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hit that subscribe button if you can, and we'll see you on the next one.